is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay, but our love is here to stay. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay.
We'll just let this play out since it's near the end anyway.
Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. Yeah, they're only made of clay, but our love is here. Yeah, our love is here. Our love is here to stay.
San Diego's Jazz 88.3 and music from Nhoojj. Made to Love Him is the name of his new release. Celebrating love, and our love is here to stay. And joining us this evening in the Jazz 88 studios is Nhoojj. Welcome to the New Jazz Thing.
Thank you so much for having me.
So it's great to have you, and congratulations on your brand new disc.
Thank you.
So this is not your first release. You've had several before. So tell us what you were trying to do with your new release, Made to Love Him.
So this, we did a few things with it. First, it's songs from the last 10 decades. We picked a song from each decade. And what we did, we changed the gender. Wherever there was a gender, we changed it to male pronouns so that it would just reflect a whole, my experience and experience of so many other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you changed some of the titles. Billy Joel's "She's Got Away" is "He's Got Away." What are some of the other ones that you've?
Stevie Wonder's "I Was Made to Love Her," "I Was Made to Love Him."
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you're actually really trying to reach out to people like yourself who are trying to find that love in this in something in an era that it's much more open and acceptable. And so this, while it still may sound a little bit different, especially on tunes that people recognize as opposed to originals. So were you at all afraid to take tunes that were recognizable and change them like this?
Not really. That, I think, for instance, like when I was growing up hearing these tunes, I never really thought of them as straight tunes. They were love songs, they were always, and so I just wanted to reflect, my experience and to really kind of show that, they're just love songs, regardless of what the gender is, regardless of what the pronouns are. They're love songs. And we thought the best way to do that, the best way we could think of doing that, was to use these songs that everyone's so familiar with, and just to make that little change and maybe give someone something to think about.
So the musicians that you collaborated with on this, are these, can you mention some of them, and are they people that you've worked with before?
So we had some amazing musicians. We have like Lonnie Plaxico on bass, and Swiss Chris on drums, and Nhoojj Allen Gums on piano. And those musicians I hadn't worked with. Those were new musicians I was super excited to have on here. The musicians I had worked with was Marcelo, the guitarist. He's on that track, and we've played together for many years. He's from Argentina. And we also had, who else? On strings, we had Tona Brown. She's a trans woman. And just she has a string quartet, and it's just like, just amazing to work with her.
Well, so then let's talk a little bit about your history, and let's go back. You were raised in Guyana and
Yeah.
Trinidad,
Yeah.
and so was music a part of your life as you were growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. I was that kid who was always singing, like they couldn't shut me up. So finally, my dad's a minister. So finally, my mom said, he's always sings. Let's just have him sing in church. So that's where I started singing in church, and then eventually moved on to the radio. I was just talking with my sister outside, and we were like, "This takes us back to when I was a kid, like performing on the radio." So yeah.
Excellent. And then you actually didn't pursue music as kind of your first thing. You were a student in economics, or and so kind of how did you make the choice that now I realize that was good to do to be an adult, but now I'm going to really do what I love.
Yeah, I was a student at NYU as an honor student, and but when I graduated, I was like, this isn't. I don't want to do economics. I'm glad I studied it. It's nice to know, but music is my real love, and it has always been my real love. So it's time to do my real love.
Well, let's then get back into this and some of your impetus for doing this. When you were growing up and hearing songs that were these songs that you knew were different gender songs, and did you always think of them as songs that were that you could apply to relationships that you were having, or did they not really speak to you in that way?
No, that came later on. It took me a while to make that connection. I think it was Someone to Watch Over Me. That was the first time that I actually changed the gender, and that was I was an adult by then. So it took me a while to start making that, translating that.
Mm-hmm. And as you were growing up and singing, and then and became aware of your sexuality and what you were, how did your family take that in? It sounds like you came from traditional country. In countries, and with your father being a minister, kind of a traditional upbringing.
Yeah.
So how did that all figure in? Was music something that you could kind of express yourself in that way?
Yeah. It was, and with my family, it was tough at first. But we talked about it. It was about talking and being honest, and it's taken a number of years, but we finally got into a place, I think, where even though we don't believe everything the same, there's love, there's respect, and that's, can't ask for more than that.
No, you can't, and that's great. Celebrating love kind of falls into that. One more thing, you mentioned some of the artists who may have not been able to be as open about that may have been inspiring to you, artists like Johnny Mathis or Luther Vandross or Lawrence Hart. Do you feel like some of what you're doing is in ode to them, and
Absolutely.
what do you think it was like for them when they were coming up as different from you and being involved in music?
Wow, I can't even imagine. It must have been, just living the double life, and just hiding and not being able to go out with one's partner and express that. And love is such, relationships and love, I think they're such huge aspects of our lives, and to have to keep that hidden must have been, I can't imagine.
So are you just a singer, or do you compose or play instrument?
I compose as well. There's actually one track on here,
Great.
I've Been Waiting for You, that's an original.
Excellent.
And this is actually my real first project where I haven't, where it hasn't been predominantly my own work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, let's hear. We're going to hear a little bit of your version of "Over the Rainbow," and then we're going to bring in Marco and talk about the upcoming concert this weekend with Peter Sprague and the Jazz Against Malaria. So let's check this out. Thoughts on "Over the Rainbow"?
It's just it was actually a song that my producer selected, and at first I was like, well, it doesn't really fit into the whole love theme, but then, it really does, because it speaks about a world where, it's different from the one we have. It's kind of an ideal, in a sense, and it's the world we dream of.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Well, Nhoojj is with us this evening, and we're listening to music from his new release, Made to Love Him, Celebrating Love, and he'll be back with us in just a moment. Right now, this is Over the Rainbow on the New Jazz Thing, San Diego's Jazz 88.3. Okay, so let's see if we can just leave that rolling here, and then have you guys just become really close. There we go. Excellent. Do a little editing, and yeah, there you go. Just speak into the mic when we get there, and there we go.
How far, by the way, like an inch?
That's good. That's probably good, and I will adjust bit levels too. One, two, three. Let me go on a beat there. Oops. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Dreams that you dare to dream
Okay,
do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops.
You must really trusted your producer to have the one he suggested as the first tune on the disc.
Over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh why can't I?
San Diego's Jazz 88.3. Music there from Nhoojj. His new release is called Made to Love Him, Celebrating Love. And he's playing this weekend in a concert with Peter Sprague called Jazz Against Malaria 2015. And Nhoojj is in studio with us. Nhoojj, welcome back to the New Jazz Thing.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So, Nhoojj, tell us a little bit about this, about the show that you're playing this weekend. Let's talk about the musicians. You're playing with Peter Sprague, one of the big names, not only in San Diego, he's huge in San Diego, but an artist who has performed with Diane Reeves and many others. So, how did you get hooked up with Peter Sprague?
Well, I think Marco was trying, we were trying to figure out musicians and if he should bring musicians from New York to here, or if he should look for local musicians here. And Marco was asking around to, to see, who are the great ones here. And Peter Sprague, his name came up and we went to see him live. And we were all just completely blown away by his presence and his talent. And so, yeah, it was a no-brainer.
Excellent. Well, Marco, welcome to the New Jazz Thing.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Marco, tell us a little bit about Jazz Against Malaria 2015, the cause of this concert.
Right, so it's an idea that came to me about 1 year ago, and I started this nonprofit called the Drugs and Diagnostics Against Tropical Diseases. And, well, of course, our mission is to come up with new treatments and new diagnostics against those diseases that affect predominantly marginalized populations and impoverished populations. Malaria springs to mind, and that's perhaps the most publicized of those diseases, but there's also dozens of diseases that affect literally hundreds of millions of people and of which no one has ever heard of here. So part of our mission is to just promote awareness of these diseases here in San Diego. And then the other thing, we want to do that in a way where people could just come and enjoy themselves and have a wonderful time. So I've been knowing Nhoojj for many years, and he sprang to mind as the lead performer for this Jazz Against Malaria event. And as he just said, when we were looking for other artists, Peter Sprague came up. And we went together to see this concert, right? And at some point, Peter, who's a real gentleman, by the way, he's one of the nicest people on earth, right? Invites Nhoojj on stage for the last song, and that was completely not rehearsed. And the result was just magical. People came afterwards almost crying to me, like, saying, I needed to hear that for my health. And so I knew that we had a sort of winner combination. And then there is this other percussionist, a local percussionist, and Scott Robinson, who is joining the bandwagon. He's bent over backwards to make this happen. And it's kind of nice because, well, that's another anecdote, essentially. So you know that when you put together a program like this, usually it's the musician who adapts to the vocalist. But Nhoojj very gracefully, proposed, Peter, why don't you give me a few choices and I could learn some of your own compositions and sing them. And one of them is called Holding On in Bombay. And there's this tabla, this Indian percussion, and we thought it would just be cool to bring somebody who could do that, and Scott Robinson is the guy who's going to make it possible.
So the organization, is it a new organization, DDTD, and what are some of the things that you're going to be doing with the proceeds from this? Do you have a set of researchers, or how does that work?
Right, so it's a startup. We started in 2011 from ground zero. We had nothing, absolutely nothing. Then companies have donated instrumentations and people have donated money, and that enabled us to start the research. Right now we're operating virtually, so that means we get the research done in other places, but locally here in San Diego. And we have two projects. One is to come up with a pill that would protect you against mosquito bites. So you would take that when you have malaria. That would not cure you from malaria, but that would allow you to not spread the disease to another person. So that would go towards an eradication agenda. And it's a long shot, admittedly, but I think we have very interesting technology and we want to push that forward. And then there's a second project which I think is highly doable, and it's a diagnostic to detect some worms. These worms are combated by or fought against via mass drug administration programs. But part of the problem is that you don't know exactly how they're distributed, and you don't know who exactly has it. So this diagnostic would look like a little pregnancy device. You'd put a drop of blood on it. You'd have a line or two that show up depending on which worm you have. And then one of the nice features is that you could take a cell phone, take a snapshot of the diagnostic and upload not just the data results, but also the coordinates, the GPS coordinates, into a global database. And that would enable the World Health Organization and its affiliates to map the diseases in real time and to be able to make their programmatic decisions. And that's a project that is really, really doable for technical reasons. It's actually very simple. It doesn't cost a lot, so the proceeds will go towards this project.
Excellent. Well, Marco, tell folks some of the specifics about the event then. When is it, where is it, and how much does it cost?
Sure. So it's going to be this Sunday at 4 p.m. Saturday, by the way, is World Malaria Day. So that's why we're having this close to World Malaria Day. It's going to be this Sunday at 4 p.m. in the Qualcomm corporate offices. They are off Mira Mesa, 6455 Lost Boulevard. That's not the Qualcomm Stadium, right? And that's it. And so it's going to last from 4 to 6 p.m. Tickets are between $30 to $40. The more people you bring in, the cheaper the tickets.
Excellent. And is there a website where people can find out more information about the show?
Yes, thanks a lot. So you can visit our website, ddtd.org. And for those of you who have problems remembering DDTD, it's dog, trainer, dog.
Excellent. Well, Marco, thank you for telling us about that and for your work in this area.
Thanks a lot.
So, Nhoojj, let's wind things up here with another tune from you. And we've got Nature Boy chosen, a beautiful composition. Tell us why this one is on your new release.
Oh, it just tells of this story of someone who's changed, a man who's changed, affected, someone else in a really dramatic way, and this person is different, unique, and I love that story.
Yeah, it is a fantastic story. Well, good luck this weekend with the event, and have fun playing with Peter. Peter is a great friend of Jazz 88. He's been on this show many times and has played our jazz live, and we really we love the work that Peter does. So you're really lucky to be able to play with him, and I'm sure you guys are going to make some great music together. Nhoojj and Marta, thank you both for being here on the New Jazz Thing.
Thanks to you.
Thank you.
From Made to Love Him, celebrating love and Nhoojj, this is Nature Boy on the New Jazz Thing, San Diego's Jazz 88.3. Okay, we're good.
Great.
Thanks a lot.